everyone, welcome back to Lori's Kitchen. So today we're making one of my favorite pot roast recipes. It's my version of a Mississippi pot roast. It uses pepperoncinis. If you don't like spicy, you don't have to put that many in there, and you don't have to put so much of the pepperoncini sauce in there. I like things spicy, so it has so much flavor. And you'll be surprised, it's more of a tangy than a spicy flavor. So let me show you what it looks like. It makes a luscious gravy, and it just is so good. I'm serving it over mashed potatoes, but you can serve it over pasta or rice if you prefer. So come along with me and let's make some Mississippi pot roast together in the Instant Pot. Let's take a look at the ingredients needed to make this recipe. First, you need a 3 to 5 pound chuck roast. I'm using a 4.8 pound for this video. You need 2 ounces of ranch dressing. I buy the larger bottle at Costco, and then I'm able to measure it out on my home scale. 2 packets of brown gravy. I found some gluten-free brown gravy. You need some beef broth. You need a cup, and I'm actually using my better than bouillon and some hot water to make it. You need some Italian seasoning. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons. I'm using 8 ounces of button mushrooms, half a cup of Worcestershire sauce, a 16-ounce jar of pepperoncini peppers. I like them whole. 1 red onion, 6 cloves of garlic that we're going to mince. And you're going to need about 6 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of, I'm using gluten-free flour here for thickening, and some water. And these are optional ingredients. If you like it more spicy, put in some red chili pepper flakes and some Tony Chachere's more spice, and some cilantro for garnish. Let's get started. First, we're going to take our red onion and peel the outside layer, cut off the ends, cut it in half, stand it up so it's nice and firm when we're cutting it, and just make some thin slices. We're not going to dice this onion, it's just going to be thin slices that'll be so delicious in our sauce. And repeat for the second half. Now we're going to peel our garlic till we have about 6 good-sized cloves. Then we're going to go ahead and mince it. I'm using my garlic press that I bought on Amazon, which works wonderfully. I just love it. To prepare the chuck roast for this recipe, we're going to cut it into some good-sized chunks. As you can see here, I'm cutting it into about 3 by 3 inch big chunks. I just want them to be able to saute nicely in the Instant Pot and not have to be one big chunk of meat that I'm going to cook. I like it like this. It'll be more closer to portion size. So first we're going to hit saute, let it warm up. Once it shows the hot indicator, it's ready to go, and we're going to put in 3 to 4 tablespoons of butter. Let that melt, get a little foamy. And then our first step is going to be to brown our meat and give it a little sear. So I'm putting in my pieces of meat to let it sear, and it's going to sear for about 3 to 4 minutes. After 3 to 4 minutes, I turn it over, and as you can see, as long as there's a nice little brown sear, it's going to be great. This is going to add so much more flavor to the meat and to the sauce, the gravy. After we do the first batch of meat, we'll take them all out and repeat with the second. When you're doing the second batch, if you feel you need a little more butter, go ahead and throw in another tablespoon. It's just going to help the meat brown a little more thoroughly. And once we've browned the meat on both sides, we take it out, and as you can see, there's a nice brown coating at the bottom of the Instant Pot. We're going to add our sliced onions right into that leftover butter sauce. Coat the onions thoroughly so they all have some of that delicious butter. Once the onions start cooking, maybe about halfway, then I'm going to go ahead and throw in my button mushrooms and give that a good stir. Let it cook for about 4 minutes. Once the mushrooms are cooked, I'm going to go ahead and add in my minced garlic. Stir it all together. Now, if you need to, put in a little bit of the beef broth to help you deglaze the pan. You want to make sure that there's nothing sticking to the bottom of the pan before we move to the next step. By putting in all these liquid ingredients, it will help. So I just added a half a cup of Worcestershire and a 1/4 cup of the pepperoncini juices. Now I'm getting ready to put all my meat back into the Instapot. As you can see, it's not cooked, it's just seared on the outside, and that's what we wanted. Now I'm going to add in my broth. I actually made a 1.5 cups of broth because I have so much meat. If maybe I made 3 pounds of meat, I might only put in 1 cup. Put in my pepperoncinis, some brown sugar, put in our Italian seasoning. The one that I have is like a grinder, so I'm going to grind in about 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning. Now we're going to add in our 2 packs of brown gravy. You could have mixed it in with your beef broth, but I decided to do it near the end. And I'm just going to get some of the liquid on top of the meat to try to get some of the gravy into the liquid. And there we go. Now we put on our lid, ensure the vent is set to sealing. Press the cancel button on the Instant Pot. Then we're going to hit pressure cook. And we're going to set our more button to 65 minutes or 1 hour and 5 minutes. Once it's done, it'll beep and let you know that it's done. However, we're going to let it sit for a natural release of 16 minutes. Once the natural release occurs, we're going to use the wooden spoon to open up the vent to allow the rest of the steam to release from the pot. Once the pin drops, you know it's safe time to open up the lid, and there's your cooked pot roast, but it's not finished yet. As you can see, I do have a trivet in there, and I used the trivet to help pull out all the meat at one time and put it into a bowl. That's not something I showed, and I apologize, but I hit stop or cancel so the Instapot would stop boiling while I was pulling out the meat. And now it's time to put it back on. That everything's out, I'm going to go ahead and put it back on saute. Now we're going to finalize the gravy, my favorite part. So I put in about another 3 tablespoons of butter, put in the flour slurry, mixed it in. I'm going to use my whisk to take out any lumps and to also help melt the butter. You can see the butter gives the gravy a nice shine to it. So I'm going to keep cooking it till it bubbles and thickens, as you can see here. And once it's thickened for about a minute, we'll be able to turn it off and we'll be done. Tastes delicious. Pouring the gravy over my pot roast. It's so rich and the meat is so tender. And there you have it, Mississippi pot roast in the Instant Pot. If you enjoyed this recipe, please give my video a thumbs up and comment down below. If you would like to see more of my videos, please hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell to be informed when my next weekly video is available. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye-bye.